YouTube? GK's back and talking about Final Fantasy's 10's lore, some more. With the recent news from Square Enix with Final Fantasy VIII getting a remaster, and Final Fantasy VII's remake, and then Crystal Chronicles coming to mobile. Final Fantasy, is that franchise to me, but specifically Final Fantasy X's world. Now, I'm calling this a DLC, and it is a DLC for Final Fantasy X2, the last mission. Now, I'm going to explain here kind of why this is important, as well as show like a little bit of a playthrough, but more so some cutscenes, as you know with Square Enix games, and really talk about what I see and where this game is positioned and what kind of sense it actually makes, because it does make a lot of sense. Often gets overlooked and overshadowed. It's a very hard game as well. This is not for the faint of heart at all. It can be very unforgiving, but it's dope, and it makes sense chronologically in the story. So we'll kind of just play the first cutscene. I'll give some tips, but really it's just about the game's world and why Final Fantasy X2 Last Mission makes sense. So here we go. The goals are really important in Final Fantasy. A goal led brother and to the airship that the Celsius, the red one. A seagull did that. That's why it's called the goal. The gull wings. That's why they got their name. Just by the way, my bad.
I thought that we would always be together.
All right, so I'm gonna pause it at interesting spots. All right, so I thought that we'd always be together. Now, you could think that this could be a reference. It's a double entendre. It could work as a reference to Riku and Pain, like we would always be together. But if you know Yuna as a character, and you know the lore in the world, that is not really the reason or the person she's talking to or about. She's talking about Titus. Will always be together. This is in reference to the novella, not the other addition to the remastered PS4 version. This is a reference to the novella specifically. Yuna and Titus have like a fight, so to speak, and they do take a break, like in their relationship, kind of. And Yuna gets, you'll see.
That would be here.
Pain!
Long time no see.
You got a letter too, Pain?
Looks that way.
Has it been 3 months?
It's important to notice 3 months time has passed since they've been together, the female protagonist, and Yuna at this time is on Besaid with Titus. They're very slow to change on Besaid. They still put a lot of power into Yuna's hands and control over their lives because they need guidance. And it's just not the old, but the young as well. Not so much, because their technology is moving so rapid and so fast. Intercoms have been set up throughout Spira. Well, that's a different topic. Let's just keep going.
He's out shopping with Buddy. Forget about that. Come on, Uni, read the letter. Read it!
Oh, right. Travel to Udisur. Reach the top by powers yours and yours alone, and there will be something worth seeing.
That's it?
That's it.
Udisur? What's a Udisur?
So right there, Riku's asking for Yuna to read it. It's almost as if they all got different letters to read, or Riku just wants to know what Yuna's is. But Udisur, people complained kind of that how could you miss this island? Well, think of Udisur two ways. How about this? The top of Mount Gagaset was hidden behind the clouds. Let's go with that as being like a natural, understandable for the lore of the game way to add that area. Udisert more so feels like an area that was masked with like a summoning, a beckoning, that was hidden, more so than a place on the map that had like clouds surrounding it, just so that kind of can sit well with you and make sense, because summoners and beckoners, there's a difference in the power levels and things. It is a little different, and I think that letter was supposed to inspire in Yuna by your powers and your powers alone, because she has a power that's complementary and separate from being a summoner. Why it makes sense is because think of that Sin kind of hit a whole nother realm of a Xanarkand in the realm of Spira that it existed in. Pockets, imagine the possibilities of pockets of areas that were masked by someone. If you recall, someone beckoned Sin back at the end of the extra episode on the remastered version of the game. So someone that's a person, and it could, or multiple people. I think it's a theory with the gods. I know I'm rambling now, this is crazy, but this is kind of what this was, and that's why Edisur just kind of pops up.
Who cares?
Well, that settles that.
Wait!
Why?
R!
P.
It's an RPG for sure, but it's also something else, and it's quite hard. I'm gonna tell you just to avoid cactuars, avoid that weird Trema looking dude who shows up, and really try to conserve your items and have a little luck and just get good. Honestly, just get good. Because Shinra, if you always mention, he always said it was his last mission with the Gull Wings, his last mission. It's quite interesting. We'll hear more about Shinra later too. We're gonna try to do as much lore as there in every 10 floors. There's 100 floors, I believe, and we'll see if there's 10 episodes worth of content. I'm not sure. Now we're in Edisur here. Now the design and everything about it is very different from the rest of the world, right? A lot of the scenery and shrubbery and the add to the effect of that stone, cutouts. It's and this tower. It's like it's giving off steam almost.
It's huge.
Good thing we can just fly straight to the top.
There's like a town on the side of it. The way it looks, it's very reminiscent of things described in the novella. Xanarkand, Spira type artistic style, just kind of fused in one. It's fascinating. So there's some shops here you can go to.
Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this.
So you can play as any of the protagonists. As we get past those 10 floors, we make it to the 10th floor, and we're always greeted with a treat. Now, looking at the design of the 10th floor observatorium, like herbology type of thing, the glass dome, gives that kind of feel. I was thinking at first that this might have been a lookout for Bevel, a station, a pavilion with soldiers, but this town aesthetic really makes me think it was somewhere pre the 1000 War, and the tower going up is in some kind of reverence to praise some kind of god or get closer to that god. There are gods in Spira. It's a very loaded topic and best served some other time. Maybe go check out a video I did, but I don't really talk about it too much. Future content there. Let's just keep going.
Shinra, haven't you?
Well, you know how Shinra left the ship and is off researching something or other with Rin? Every now and then he asks me to check out this or that. He says he can't do it himself because he's just a kid. So I'm always looking for ruins on the bottom of the sea or off running all over on some mission or another. Oh yeah, and I did some work for Pops too, because he had another one of his crazy business ideas.
So real quick, we'll recap these two things. Sid first. Remember, he kind of wanted to build a new home. The idea wasn't always necessarily to rebuild it in that exact spot. So, and home is more of a concept for the Albed, so that could be anywhere. Doing the missions for Shinra, something at the bottom of the sea. I believe it's just a reference to when he first started Final Fantasy X, and the Albed, find that airship under the sea. Just point some stuff out.
So I helped set up a meeting between them, you know? He said,
Kamari worry hunters defile sacred ground.
but LeBlanc just told him the Syndicate does whatever it wants. I mean, show some gratitude, will ya? And then there's Clasco. You know how kids are. He still bugs me to help him out all the time. It never ends. I end up babysitting the kindergartens on whatever silly little mission they're on. And the more I help, the more he ends up depending on me. Yeesh! Oh yeah, I heard from Tobly a while ago too. And check this out. He wants to hire me to get up on stage and sing. He said I've got to sound as good as you, Uni. So I've been taking voice lessons from Barkeep. My darling, I love you.
Wow, you certainly have been busy.
This is to show that Yuna hasn't really been.
That's one way to put it.
She hasn't really been allowed to do much, really, with the people of Besaid, especially them being older and the resisting change.
Rejected again. No matter how many times I ask, she always says no.
But if I were as busy as you, I'd go out of my mind.
You never want to see me anymore, Uni.
You know that's not true. Did she really think I didn't want to see her?
I open this chest, my inventory's full, so I don't get what's in it. Another tip for you guys and girls. Anyway, Final Fantasy X2's last mission. I'm gonna come back and revisit it every time we reach pieces of lore or something, interesting that helps facilitate. Where does this game rank, place in this world? I think it serves a really dope purpose. Hopefully it said some things new and interesting to you. I'm GK. Have a good day.